Welcome to YellBRo. I am Jordan, and today we're going to talk about, is Batman a cop? No. But first, please remember to share, support, hopefully donate to Devon's Journey to Recovery, to helping victims of Africom, to helping out Cohen Daly, the Australian kid. Also help out some other content creators, Stevie aka Redneck Economics, Sleepy J, Buy My Coffee, and the snail from Chicago, Ali Alexandra. All links are in the description box. So is OCB's. Don't tell them I told you, but shh, keep it quiet. Shh. Share them, donate to them, do what you can. All links in the description box. All right. So this might be a bit of a long video because they talk for quite a bit on this topic, and I find it very interesting. Now, I know I'm going to be made fun of because people that know me know that I'm a Batman. I'm a fan of the Nolan trilogy, Batman. I'm a fan of that. But it's beyond, for me, why I enjoy it so much is beyond Batman itself, right? It could have been a random guy, like a story that has nothing to do with DC Comics or any type of superhero comics. If they took those same motifs and put them in this film, I'm gonna love the movie because that's what I look for in my artwork. So I'm telling you right now, I'm going to get made fun of, but at the same time, I'm not arguing from this, just, protecting Batman for the sake of Batman. What I'm trying to do is essentially protect the art of film itself, because I think that gets quite lost in these discussions, as I think you're going to see. I think I watch movies differently than these five. Franco's probably closer to me than any of them, but I watch movies a little bit different. I think there's some sort of benefit to watching movies the way I watch movies. But actually, first, all right. So the question for them is: Batman a cop?
Do I look like a cop?
That little baby bitch ass motherfucker, bro. That was a corrupt cop, by the way, in the movie. Corrupt detective that Batman is stringing up. No Kramer. And that's actually a theme in the movie, saying that, hey, these typical things that we consider to be like, this is the moral thing, like cops or whatever the fuck. The movies are questioning that. They say that there's something beyond that. There's a righteousness above this. And they use the Joker in the Dark Knight movie to showcase that your morals are weak. They're bendable, they're movable, they're breakable. Except for this fucking guy's morals. Him we can't fuck with. Because he's supposed to be something beyond the typical. Beyond on the surface. And apparently, I'm gonna be real, the movie goes over all five of their heads. I don't think they got the movie. And I have receipts for this. I have evidence that the movie's actually trying to say something beyond what they're calling it. But let's hear their point of view. Here we go. Is Batman a cop? From the Fred Hampton leftists. Here we go.
Batman, I believe that Batman is way more of like an idealized Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates wrapped into one kind of thing. I think
I just want to say, actually, keep these in mind for me, for like my argument. Keep these in mind. I can only speak on the Christopher Nolan trilogy, right? So I'm not talking about comic book Batman or this movie or that iteration. I'm strictly going off of the Nolan Batman, even though they will bring that movie up. But that's the one I'm going off. That's the Batman character I'm talking about. That one and that one only. The other ones I can't make an argument for because I don't really know them. All right? Also, let's keep in mind that Gotham is a fake city with not real people there. Let's go a little deeper. There might even be motifs and metaphors that are in this movie where it's like these don't represent literal people. Even forgive me, it could be a little woo woo. But here we go. All right, tell us, Harley.
Of like an idealized Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates wrapped into one kind of thing. I think that he, I mean, he definitely works with the cops, but it's clear that he's in control all the time, and no matter what Commissioner Gordon says, he's going to do whatever he wants to do, right? He's like, I got a plan, you guys back me up, let's go, right? So that's
in the Nolan trilogy. No, he does not work for the cops. They make that a point of emphasis. Point blank. Just saying. Maybe she's talking about a different Batman.
One dynamic, and the fact that he spends billions and billions of dollars on these beautiful suits and giant all kinds of Batmobiles and whatever. I mean, you can just go feed people and then there'd be no crime. I mean, if he's so passionate about,
that's not true, but I'm gonna wait for someone else they're gonna say the magic words for me, and then I will explain. So for now, I'll just play it.
About there not being crime. I mean, especially in the Dark Knight series, because I just went marathon them to refresh my memory. And in the Dark Knight series, his parents are killed by, like, it appears to be like a homeless guy, or at least somebody who's down his luck, right? So he's not even like part of the big mob scene that they end up going after later in the movie. And well then then why didn't Wayne Enterprises, just like employ all the homeless people or house them or something?
I was literally thinking that.
Now, the down on his luck guy that kills Wayne's parents in Batman Begins, right, in the Nolan trilogy, right? They show you that Bruce was going to look for revenge. I think he had like a little like Magnum or something. Pause. Like a little 6-shooter. Whatever, your revolver, yeah. And he was gonna kill the guy who killed his parents. He didn't, right? This is all before he does the training. I mean, the real training, the psychological training. That's what that all symbolizes. It's beyond he learned karate moves, right? It's such a blatant symbol of the hero's journey. Like, there's no way around that. He drops all his belongings to run off and discover himself. Come on, man. Right? You'll hear Joseph Campbell talk about this all the time, who revolutionized the fucking hero's journey. Like that shit's taught in like screenwriting school or whatever, or any type of storytelling. And there's always this motif of the hero, right, in some sort of youth or adolescent stage. They go away to learn some big spiritual lesson, then they come back. They come back these shining fucking hero. That's such a motif in hero stories. From the Bible to Hollywood to just a book. That is a constant motif, and for some reason, it was missed by the room here. Let's keep playing.
The need to like create a giant tower.
Oh yeah. So the guy, the down on his luck guy that killed Wayne's parents, like when Bruce was going to approach him, he wasn't that guy yet. He was just like a normie. Here we go.
The center of Gotham, where all the water all the power comes from, the water comes from, all the trains intersect there, whatever. Like, that's suspicious to begin with. Like, that's not a favor to build the infrastructure in your favor. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a favor to the people of Gotham, I don't think.
It's a metaphor.
So anyway, yeah. So I feel like his attitude, and again, especially in the Dark Knight series, is very
especially the Dark Knight,
like
White savior.
Yes. Exactly.
Very much white savior. I'm telling you, the movie went over their heads. It really did. But let's keep playing.
seriously, because somebody specifically asked him in the movie, like, well, why is it you and why not me? And he's like, oh, I have the training and the blah 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 blah.
No, actually, he said because I'm not. He said because I'm not wearing underpants or something like that.
Oh, I'm not wearing hockey pants.
I'm not wearing hockey pants.
Yeah.
I was like, basically,
I'm not wearing hockey pads, I believe, is the line. And there's a reason why that's in the movie. Because these guys are dressing up like Batman, but they didn't do the rites of passage to become the Batman. Because the Batman is not the Batman in the Dark Knight trilogy. It's like a symbol for the Christ figure that's supposed to be walking through the shadow, the dark side of the Christ archetype, right? The hero character who also has like mercy to the next level, like a Jesus, right? Jesus is giving food to these guys, but also carrying a sword in the next scene, right? But yeah, that's the motif. That's the most typical hero's journey thing. And I shouldn't even say Christ because, people get a little triggered. But, the Christ figure is a play off of some other stories that happened, which is a play off of other stories that happened, because I think there's something within man, within human, that can, some sort of archetype within humans that they can, for some reason, like, man, let me just create all the scenarios. I can write this out as like a thing. I can take this internal thing I'm seeing and put it on paper and turn it into a story. Because it's an actual thing. That's what the Batman, and that's why it resonates with people, I would say. People want to see those hero guys. They also want to knock them down too, but also like those hero guys I think people would want to see. Especially in fiction, right? In real life, they'll definitely try to knock them down, like beat the fuck out of that person. But in art, I think a lot of people want to see that, especially such a humanized character like Batman. But yeah, basically saying these guys do not walk, they did not go through the rites of passage to become the hero, right? They're just like, that's bad, let me go fight. Which is kind of what happens in the political realm. And we see what happens there, right? Metaphorically speaking, those guys, they're carrying around shotguns. They're hurting people. They're hurting themselves, right? They risk their lives without being trained to understand what they're actually doing. And if they don't even look into the narrative, like, hey, what is good and bad? And who am I to judge it? They didn't do that work either. It's like you're walking around like a phony. Thus, you're creating a danger for yourself and others around you. Point blank, period. And obviously the Joker picked them up and whoop, 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 pretty easily. Yeah. So, and that actually looks like the political scene, where there's no moral. There's no like moral lens to where it's like this shit is unmovable, this shit's unbreakable. I don't even think it's looked at and studied in the first place. I think it's skipped over for the sake of expediency. Like, let's not think about it. Let's just join a group and then just go. Without ever asking, like, hey, wait, what makes me right or the good guy? Well, good is good and bad is bad. That's the most I usually get. And it's like, for me, who has such a belief in such woo-woo things like morality and choice and free will and stuff, that is like a big no-no. Because you are harming yourself to the nth degree, I think. I think it's very self-damaging. And I don't want people to be waking up 50 years later on an HBO documentary saying, man, I was young, and like, I don't want to see that. I want them to get it right from the jump. But here we go.
because you're rich, is what you're saying. That's literally the reason.
As his car was like closing on him.
Yeah.
Okay, so cop, yay or nay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I
Okay.
for the fancy duds.
Hmm.
Okay, thanks.
Franco, to you.
I would say no. The reason
luck,
why he
Frank.
does what he does is because he
Network.
sees corruption in the city he's in. Like the crime mobs are influencing the politicians. They're influencing the way that the cops move. I mean, he sees the cops are corrupt, and so he wants to do his own thing and work outside of the system in the way that he catches some criminals, but still working within the system and sending them in, and for jail. But like Bess brings up a good point. Like, he doesn't go at the root of it. Why doesn't he use his money to expose the corruption to the people and let them realize, okay, we have corruption in the city because of this, because these crime mobs are controlling everything and they're paying off these politicians. Why doesn't he use his money to try to influence people to have parallel governments and opt out of the system? It just doesn't cross the author's minds to do that.
That is where you are big time incorrect. Big time, because the writers are not trying to reach fictional characters in Gotham. They're trying to reach you, the audience, to talk about the real core issues. Money is not the core issue. It's a happenstance attached to the issue, but it's not really where the problem happens at. Right? What does Batman fight in his movies? He fights symbols for fear, for greed, for narcissism. Oh, those are the actual causes of why someone does this or that. In the first movie, Batman Begins, Batman goes overseas, right, and lives like a poor man. Then he starts figuring out, like, oh, this is, like, I'm starting to see it at firsthand, like, why people steal or rob or anything like that, right? He steals himself, right? He steals, like, an orange, but shares it with the kid in Batman Begins. That's because he's like, fuck, I get why people steal food or whatever the fuck to get by in life. And if you watch in the movies, he's not beating the shit out of those guys. He's not looking around for, someone who's robbing a liquor store for extra money or whatever the fuck. Yeah, just some dude on the street trying to get by in life. He doesn't go after those guys. Who does he go after? Crime bosses, villains, on and so forth. It's not... He goes after the cops. Corrupt cops. Literally, like, not even corrupt. He beat up normal cops in the Dark Knight because they were gonna fucking shoot innocent civilians, but they didn't know that. They didn't know they were about to shoot innocent civilians. So Batman beat the shit out of him and tied him up. Oh my god, that's an amazing symbol right there. Like, oh, they're kind of blind. Like, the average cop, the morals and notion, the vision of the average cop, doesn't actually see these. They just see, kill him. Doctor, protect. Batman's the guy who's going to look for more nuance. Like, what's really going on here? That's like a symbol for that. I truly believe that. And just so you know, I'm not making that up. Let's play a little clip. Hopefully I play a minute of this. Here we go.
He has become a legend, a victim of tragedy, who emerges as a symbol of justice.
What the hell are you? I'm Batman.
But what drives a billionaire to become a crime-fighting vigilante?
You got an angry man in pain, seeking purpose in his life.
That's the guy who played him. He's a part of this documentary. Just saying. So is the director.
And how do Batman's motivations reflect our own?
He is struggling with the very things that you and I struggle with every day.
Now, go inside the mind of a superhero.
His whole life is a quest to restore meaning.
As we use the real-life tools of analysis.
There's a technique for people who have fears. It's called exposure.
To unlock the psyche of Bruce Wayne, Batman, and the villains who symbolize our darkest desires.
I am gonna stop you.
And the villains that symbolize our darkest desires. It's not exactly the words I would put it in, but It's in the movie. So yes, the villains don't symbolize, like, they're just bad guys, as these guys seem to be just seeing it. They're just bad guys. They actually represent archetypes of the darker aspects of the human mind and soul, like greed or fear or lust or narcissism or something we can't even put words on. The Joker character is supposed to represent something much more intricate, and I have not seen that portrayed in film. I don't want to say ever, but it's definitely the best I've ever seen. A portrayal of that, almost like a direct shadow of the hero character. It's super duper well made. I'll probably be denied that too, at the actual filmmaking. No, it's bad, man. But he's a billionaire. Weak argument. It's me going to Fast and Furious movies and then complaining that cars are flying. It's like, what? Here we go.
And also, if they fixed everything, then they just wouldn't have any more stories for Batman. But in that sense that he's trying to work outside of the system and trying to catch these criminals.
They're symbols, Franco. Does fear go away? When you, overcome fear, does the actual thing of fear go away? They, in fact, warn you about that in the movies, right? The third one? How did they survive? How did they make it out of the well, or out of the thing? The pit. Oh. They use fear or something. That was if they were afraid of dying. Want to live for something else. Right? Batman lost one of his faculties in a way, right? Didn't actually lose it, but they're basically telling you that it's like, I've overcome fear, so I don't even need to look at it again. It's just anger. That's all I got left. No, but they say that, but then it's like, dude, but you're not living though. Yeah, isolated from the world. All right, here we go.
And doing it his own way, I would say he's not a cop.
Okay. Nico.
First of all, Franco just gave the most Capricorn ass response I've ever heard. He's like, yeah, he's taking shit in his own hands. Somebody got to do the shit. He might as well do it, right? Like,
as a Capricorn, I take offense
how
to
is
that.
how is that Capricorn?
I'm a Capricorn. That's how I know. No, he's not a cop, man. He's just like,
I'm half
what the cops
Capricorn.
don't do, man. No, he's a cop. He's definitely a cop. And in fact, it's like he's damn near running a racket, right? Because it's like why not just use Wayne Enterprise to employ all the homeless? As much as the mafia is paying the average delivery guy or low-level drug dealer, Wayne Enterprise can literally put them through school and hire them and pay them more and not even be close to dented as far as their finances are concerned. And then
I think that's such a. If this movie, all right, what's the narrative in the movie? What's the narrative in the movie? I think it's morality. Pretty sure that's the core theme throughout the fucking movies, is morality. I don't think it's a statement about society like that. I think it's a statement about human beings themselves, the core of a human being. Not the, well, why are some rich and some poor, and like that shit. I don't really think that's deeply a part of the narrative. It's an aspect because, well, that's kind of like a moral question, which they play with that a little bit in the movies. Looking at the moral aspect of him being a billionaire in this world or whatever the fuck, right? Or the corporate assholes. It's in the first movie. It's definitely in the third movie. And so, yes, those themes are brought up in there. But where could they have the biggest impact? Should it be Batman giving money away in Gotham so that you feel satisfied as a moviegoer? Or should the writers and directors be reaching outside the film to the audience and saying, hey, like, you're more than, what you think you are, as far as like human faculties, the human psyche, all of that, the human soul, if you will. See, I actually have this theory that the city of Gotham actually represents one person's whole internal like universe, and each of these things are playing aspects and archetypes of that. Almost like little ideas running around. Some ideas stand out more, some are being played off of this faculty like fear or narcissism, or even something like justice or order. I think it's very, and it's big. Let me say it's big PP movie making, very big PP movie making. And I could do this. See, I can make these similar, not the same, but very similar arguments for a V for Vendetta, which no one complains about, or Black Swan, which no one complains about. It seems to be Batman that they did. Huh? I'm trying not to do the whataboutism thing, because I could easily shred Marvel shit. I could shred DC shit too. I'm just talking about the Batman trilogy. Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy is some of the most brilliant filmmaking I've ever seen. I want to say we, but I'll say that I've ever seen. And yeah, I could easily throw these same questions at like a Tony Stark or whoever the fuck. But let's keep it moving. Here we go.
On top of that, like, you basically run the city. The city cannot function without Wayne Enterprises. So I know you're getting government subsidies from the city, and because of what you do, like as far as energy is concerned, because there's no way you're a multi-billion-dollar mega corporation without it being an international venture, as we saw in Dark Knight. Like, you're probably getting federal subsidies too. You have the ability, without ever putting a mask on, to fix all of the problems single-handedly in your city, and no one can do anything about it.
Would that work today, James? Would that work in the real world? Can I take money, give it away, and then all of a sudden the world is fixed? Are you fucking serious? Yeah. But, dude, the fucking, like, why do you think the Joker character is wrote the way he's, like, he'll have a shit ton of money one second, none the next? Whatever. It's always about the money. All you ever care about is money. That's why that fucking character, like, to show you that there's something beyond. Batman is beyond that shit. That's why the Joker has to be beyond that shit. Yeah. Gotta cut you up in pieces, feed you to your pooches. Oh, yeah, you don't. Yeah. It's almost like, he's almost like saying, like, the South Park joke of how Magic Johnson cured his AIDS. He just slept on piles of money and it cured him. Come on, bro. If that really is, like, you just give him money and do this, like, I think there needs to be a much deeper diagnosis of the problems we deal with. My God. And once again, I believe the filmmakers and the writers and shit are trying to tell you that the actual core issue is not someone having money or not, right? Batman gets why someone will take money for feeding themselves. Versus, I just want more money because I'm the mob boss, or I'm the corrupt cop, or whatever the fuck. Just because, like, look at this. Let me break this down perfectly, because it's like, okay, we're saying that money does this, or lack of money does that to people, right? It makes them go to crime and then blah, 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 blah. Because they need money, so they're going to commit crimes to make money because they have no other way to do it, and blah, 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 blah. Like, oh, think about it a little bit deeper. If I have someone and I take money away from them, or I keep money away from them, and they're thinking about, fuck, when's my next meal going to come? Oh, fear. What does Batman fight? Fear. Okay, let's go to the mob boss. Maybe he has a shit ton of money, but he keeps committing crimes and all that shit. Ah, greed. Batman fights a character that's based on greed. How about something like jealousy? You're jealous at someone. Huh? You're jealous, so you fucking start a fight with him, beat the shit out of him, or kill him, or whatever. Batman will fight an enemy that represents jealousy, or you say envy, right? That'd be better. I'll say envy. Right? These are all things that the Batman character, the Self, the guardian of the fucking shadow, I would say is the shadow in a way. But I'll call it the Imperial Shadow, just to scare more people away. I know. What Batman represents is the thing that is supposed to withstand those faculties. So if someone takes Batman's money away, he's not going to turn to a life of crime where he murders and kills people. Someone could have something that Batman doesn't have. He's not going to go on a murdering rampage to get back at them, Harvey Dent. Batman can have all of his ideas broken down 10 billion times, split 30 million different ways, and he's still just not going to kill someone. Still. Joker. That's nature being like, how about this, bitch? Huh? What, bitch? How about this? How about this? How about this? Fuck, you're not moving? I'm going to keep going, though. How about this? How about this? That's the Joker archetype in the fucking movie. That's what Batman has to deal with. Batman's supposed to be a symbol for himself. Shh. Or the Christ or the hero archetype or whatever you want to put on it. I mean the white savior, the Caucasian savior. That's what I mean. That's all the only thing the movie's about. Yeah. No more. But yeah. It's they made a documentary about it to explain it to people so they didn't miss it. Oh my god. Like that's making me think people actually need the Matrix style narrative or the Matrix style of filmmaking to where they're just telling you like, hey guys, about this. It's about the system, it's about this, it's about existentialism, it's about spirituality, it's about all this shit. They have to like blatantly so fucked it up. Fair enough. I just think artistically, I think filmmaking looks better, and like I get more joy out of like watching that art style when it's not so blatant like that. But apparently, we need more. All right, let me keep playing this.
Because he's probably like as rich as Jeff Bezos. When you can disappear for however long, and then you just come back and all your money is still there, and everybody just like, hey man, hey, it's Wayne's money, it's his, don't touch it. Like you got a different type of power, and the fact that no one ever questions what you're doing at all because of how powerful you are, like it's not my business. It shows that you have a type of influence that like the same influence we ask people like Jeff Bezos or what's that fucker's name? Elon Musk. Those people, like we try to tell them, hey, maybe you should spend your money in these ventures to help people out. Like he could wipe out poverty. All of Gotham's poverty. Bruce Wayne could wipe out himself. Doesn't do it.
Now this one's interesting because it seems like I could be wrong about this, but if I remember correctly, in the first movie, they obviously show you like the slums and all that shit of Gotham, but not really in the second movie. Right? And then in the first movie is when he comes back and he basically takes control over the company, right? At the end of the movie. Or he puts it in Fox's hand because he wants nothing to do with fucking money shit, really. Lucius Fox, Morgan Freeman. He basically doesn't want anything to really do with it. So he lets him handle the business while telling it. Basically, like, I'm just questioning whether or not they actually do spend money on their like citizens, like straight up. Because there's like a certain style in the first movie of this, right, where he goes away, he understands, like, literally tries to understand poverty. Then he comes back, right? And then the city's like a certain way and the fear gas and all that shit. But then the second movie, that's not really there. This idea of like slums and all that. But maybe that one would be me guessing. I don't know. I would think that based on the last movie where he gives all his shit up, even his family house and all that, basically gives up all his belongings. Like, hey, maybe he did use his money for charitable things, like his father was doing, right? I know they turned the mansion into an orphanage in the last movie. Ah, yeah. And also Wayne's ancestors, they used it for an underground railroad to free for slaves. Yeah, I know. They're going to say it's not enough. But that's why I'm not even arguing the money aspect, because it's like this movie's telling you that it's supposed to mean much more than just social blah 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 blah. Well, let's keep playing this out.
Like, and not so if you're like want to come from a super cynical perspective, it basically looks like his trauma has warped his logic. So he feels like he has to avenge people and quote unquote protect people from physical harm, instead of, like, for example, the reason that your parents went through a back alley at night in the most dangerous city in the goddamn country doesn't make any sense. You think they should have walked out the front door instead? Maybe that would have been the smart decision. So he's not thinking like, maybe we should try to avoid me ever having to get involved physically with any type of crime. Maybe.
That's symbolically, that's what he's doing. And that's what the writers are telling the audience, writers and directors. That's what they're telling the audience of what we can do in our real world. But for some reason, we're stuck on Gotham, a make-believe city of make-believe people. That's interesting. That's super interesting. All right, here we go.
I should try to erase crime before it becomes a thing. And he doesn't do it. And so it's like his trauma basically made him react to the point.
The precursor to crime is not money or no money. It's how you feel about money or no money. Right? It's how you feel about that. Like, fuck, that scares me. I'm willing to do something out of fear to make sure, like, I survive. I already explained all this. Here we go.
Point where he felt like he had to go fight crime directly instead of preempting it and making sure it never happened. So fuck yeah, he's a cop. He works with the cops. I mean, what?
He works with the
SWAT team,
Gordon,
the ultimate SWAT
but
team of cops.
but not the corrupt cops. He works with Gordon, but not the corrupt cops. Gordon is more so like
Franco.
Oh,
this is gonna be good.
What?
You say not the corrupt cops?
Gordon's not the corrupt cop.
I mean,
right? That's who he works with.
Like literally in the movie,
Big cab, Franco.
there was
Big cab.
constantly issues because the entire fucking department was corrupt. That's how Two-Face became a thing.
I definitely see Gordon as the reformist, though, trying to work in the system. And
yeah, how do you feel about those people?
Then,
Franco, how do you feel about those people?
Which people?
I think in the movies, Bruce would try to look for relatives, meaning like we have a similar moral backbone. Like same, like, oh, I'm reading if you're well-intentioned or not, and how you go about it. Right? Because he reads Commissioner Gordon as meaning well, but he also, I believe he also reads the fake Batmans. I think he reads them as being well-intentioned. But one is running around with shotguns just shooting aimlessly, like, and one is a little more competent, like a Gordon. Oh, it's so simple. Here we go.
Yeah. No. But I was gonna say Batman though is working out more so outside of the system.
You see how you try to
so he's a revolutionary.
No.
But he's a half-assed revolutionary.
He's working with
he's
the
not
cop.
using his power. He's not using his resources efficiently.
He's working with a cop to do cop shit. For cops.
Okay, Meg.
He could be working with nonprofit organizations and other outside groups. Like if you're like, oh, he works with the Justice League outside. It's like, okay, cool. Because that's a more broader thing. Like he's helping people all over the world, all over the universe eventually. That's a whole different thing. But in the Dark Knight series and just what we know about Batman when he's like his inception, it's like, nah, bro, like you're just a psychopath who didn't want to go to therapy, so you decided to put on a fucking bat costume and beat up bad people.
There we go. Gene brings up a great point.
It's a symbol. There is no literal he who's literally beating up people. What the freak? I don't know, that makes my head spin sometimes. What? And then with all the fucking, like, hey guys, all the little breadcrumbs they're fucking throwing at you. I know I say I like it, like, I like the symbolism more subtle. More subtle doesn't always mean like it's just you don't see it at all. Right? That it's very, like, you have to read this book to understand that this is in the movie. Like, no, it's still fucking blatant. It's still very fucking blatant. You can at least tell, like, an artist are probably trying to say something here. And what they're trying to say is beyond the social. But, you know, it went over everyone's heads. It went over all their heads. Okay, here we go.
There is a difference between a cop and a vigilante, right? Or is it the same thing?
In Batman's case, no, it's the same thing.
Why?
Okay, so like
He's
just
still putting
because
up with the carceral
Obama
system.
gave the military, or excuse me, just because Obama gave the cops more weapons and like high-tech
Militarizing
gear,
the police.
they're still cops. Like
Okay.
Bruce Wayne it's like those people who like join the infantry or join the police force because they're like dumbass childhood that they didn't want to actually address, like with all the trauma they didn't want to actually address. Like so, or some of them are closet racist, or they have they just have a litany of issues with them mentally and emotionally. So they go out and they beat the shit out of people. That's why like what 90% of all cops beat the shit out of their wives. Like, come on,
Dude, the movie is literally based on like psychoanalysis and like Jungian psychology of looking into your hidden drives and examining them. Right? He's fucked up, was looking for revenge with the fucking revolver, right? And then the girl gave him like a reality check, like, oh, what the fuck? And then that's when he went to deal with Falcone. Is that his name? Falcone. And they beat the shit out of him and threw him out of the bar or whatever. When he went to confront them, like, I need something more to deal with this type of thing. That's when he got rid of his whatever he had on him, got rid of it, and just fucking jumped on a fucking boat, disappeared. To deal with those things that you're saying he needs to deal with, but those are never. I'm sorry for the whataboutism, but they're not addressed in most movies. Those concepts are not addressed in most movies, and definitely not in the fucking Marvel universe. Not even a little bit is it even looked at. That's the most ironic part of this. Like, I have fun arguing this with people, but at the same time, I'm like, hey, there's certain things. Like, I'm a Braves fan. I'm an Atlanta Braves fan, and I will do all the fanboying I can for Atlanta Braves. Right? But as soon as it enters into, if there's some sort of topic or something where it enters into something deeper, like a spirituality or politics or whatever the fuck, like yeah, I'm gonna get real about it. I think something like movie or art or something where that language, like, you just see it disappearing. Then you hear people examining movies, and it's like, oh, what is this? What? You're gonna, like, if directors and writers and shit just give fans what they want, it's gonna look very bleak, in my opinion. Towards, like, we'll never get filmmaking like that anymore. Filmmaking like that inspires people. Inspired me, at least. And plenty of other people. Oh, shit. Like, oh, someone suffered trauma? How can I get over trauma? Not only is that, like, there on the social level in the movie, where you actually see his physical parents killed, and he's like, okay, I'm going to lift weights or whatever the fuck to be stronger, so I don't have to fear bad guys. Not only is that surface level shit in there, but also the actual Jungian psychology, archetypal steps, Siddhartha Road, fucking Crown of Thorns, like, all this shit. Bearing your cross, it's all in that fucking movie. It's anyways.
Like,
all right, I see what you guys are saying. Yeah, I think, I can see how he could
taking
be a
us in
cop.
his own hands. Okay, so we have two for, but definitely
Oh yeah, I would have wrecked the whole. Being honest with you.
a cop, one for not a cop. Meg.
He's definitely a cop.
We're so uneven.
That man is definitely a cop. I mean, come on. I mean, that's because he's not working as an actual police officer, just because he doesn't have a badge. He is still uplifting the carceral system. He is aiding the carceral system. He is
the worst cop then. He's worse. He's a cop that literally can't even be taken to court because he doesn't have a badge number.
All right, would he be against?
He's a cop without accountability.
Would he be against all cops are bastards? Like, during the Black Lives Matter protest, what side do you think that Batman would stand on?
I have no idea.
I don't think he would be a cop.
He wouldn't even get involved.
I feel like he represents.
I think he judges it. I think if you take the Nolan Batman, I think he would be judging it in a realistic way. Like a fake character might read this situation better than most people do. Just being honest. How could I judge you? Could I judge you as an individual by judging the group? Doesn't make sense. Get him out of here! Stupid billionaire! That's the funny part of it, bro. Let fucking fake people do this better than you. Don't let that happen. Don't let that happen. In my opinion, better. Right? You don't want to have things where it's like group. Yes, I will join this group. It's like, what? I will join this group without knowing each and every. Join it. It's like the opposite of Batman. Do you not like AOC? Me neither. Let's make a team. Make a team, yeah. Yes, I will join. I also hate AOC. But take off your hockey pads.
that level of 1% that like is just above every law ever, and it's like the law.
Metaphorically speaking, people are gonna hate me with this video. They're gonna fucking hate me for theoretically speaking, he would be like a 1%er. Probably less than 1%. Because that type of thinking is not your everyday citizen, bro. It's just not. Where do you hear people that talk I can work with motifs like that? Where are they? And no, it is not some academic fancy fucking give me my PhD bullshit. No, it's actual feet on the ground sense of things. How many people do you know that actually have a process for dealing with greed, dealing with narcissism, dealing with lust? It's like dealing with all these faculties, dealing with your psychological shadow. How many people? Come on, bro. He's less than a 1%er. Like, if you're telling me the everyday walking around person is anywhere near like aware of that, come on, bro. It would sound nice to say, but I don't think that's the case. Really don't. Once again, you don't gotta be so. You can create your own words for this. It's your own mind. You're right there. You don't need a book to figure out something in here. Just look at something in here. And how often do you actually see that? Other than the typical egotistical jibber jabber of, hey, what am I having for dinner? What's 1 + 1 again? Blah, 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 blah. Is he looking at me weird? The little voice in your head doing that. How long is this video? 49 minutes so far. Here we go.
I don't think he would be ACAB.
He wouldn't even get involved.
I feel like he represents that level of 1% that like is just above every law ever, and it's like the laws are made for him. They're protecting his property, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, the Joker breaks all your silly morals, your silly laws, your silly this, your silly roles you play. Like, everyone's out here faking. That's what Joker's saying. Like, you're all out here faking, and he wasn't talking to fake people in Gotham. It's the writers looking at the audience saying, hey, when a truck full of soldiers get blown up and no one fucking goes crazy about it. Weird. But if I threaten the president tomorrow, wee, 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 you have cops and security everywhere, and the citizens like, oh my God, are you paying attention to this? Oh my God. But soldiers are dying every fucking day. 9/11. Yep. Like, is someone gonna tell me that they put that in the movie just for entertainment purposes? Like, no, it's just to keep the narrative going. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. That's big PP storytelling. Big PP. All right, here we go.
I don't think he would have cared one way or another about the BLM protest.
What did he say in Dark Knight? He was like, "Oh no, the Chinese government doesn't extradite people." He's like, "Bro, Batman doesn't have jurisdiction." Fuck you mean Batman don't have jurisdiction?
Yeah.
Batman's supposed to have jurisdiction. It's supposed to be something because once again he can go and do whatever the hell he wants to. Like we don't like. Yeah, he ended up getting the bad guy.
Yeah, he's
But
not
what if he
limited.
goes over there and those cops that were in that building, the security that was in that building, they were just doing their job. He's beating the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Like, and they were just doing their job. They don't know what the hell's going on. They're like, this is Batman guys here. I guess I gotta fight fucking Batman now because they didn't handle their business over in the U.S. Like, there's like all kinds of like cascading effects that once again he's not accountable for. It's kind of like the plot of a Civil War. Like,
They sound like the citizens in the movie. Hey, how come he could just get? I don't like vigilantes. How could he just do this? Which is okay. It's the problem is they're not adding subtext, which is clearly in the movie. There's clearly symbolism in the movie to say that it's not a literal rich guy in a bat suit literally just beating people up. It's something more. Quite literally in the movie. Yeah. So it's befuddling me. Mine is noodles now. Doesn't make sense. Here we go.
in that building, the security that was in that building,
Queen.
they were just doing their job. He's beating the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Like, and they were just doing their job. They don't know what the hell's going on. They're like, this is Batman guys here. I guess I gotta fight fucking Batman now because they didn't handle their business over in the U.S. Like,
well, if it's a symbol that Batman's fighting something like greed or narcissism or any of these fucking psychological, emotional aspects or fear or whatever, it's a symbol that he's beating those things up. He's defeating them. Oh, okay. What would it mean if he's beating people up in the movie? Like you physically see an ass whipping. Oh, this doesn't mean just ass whipping. It's not saying, hey, audience, just go beat the fuck out of people you don't agree with. Like, no, it's saying like, oh, it's him overcoming some sort of aspect of human that can become so fucking bright that it could cause you to do something in a blind way. Maybe something we might call corrupt. Just saying.
there's like all kinds of like cascading.
But no, it
effects
was
that he's not
about just
accountable
beating
for.
people up.
It's
That's
kind of
what
like the plot of a Civil War, like Captain America Civil War, where they're not well, you know, there was a belief that there's not accountability, but it's kind of weird because like Tony Stark actually has like a whole like cleanup crew and he spends his own money to do it, so that's weird. But the idea is like there's not accountability, and with Batman specifically, like it's not only does he not like people don't know who Batman is, it's because
I'm staying away from the Marvel Universe stuff because it's too easy. That's just, and I like to argue in good faith. Yeah, that would be good faith. That would be good faith. But I'm still not doing it. Still not doing it because too easy, bro. Like Batman's fake persona of the billionaire playboy is actually Tony Stark. And that's not the real Bruce Wayne. Pretends it that people don't look at him like he's Batman or something. Right? Yeah. There we go.
Bruce Wayne has enough money for you to never fucking find out.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I'm going to show something.
Figure it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna show something real quick that is totally going to aid. I'm not gonna have the music on because that way we won't get a copyright strike. But it's a new graphic novel.
All right. Do I stop it here? I'll stop it here. They're gonna show the trailer thing. Like I said, I'm only here to argue for the Dark Knight Batman, the Christopher Nolan's universe Batman. Not anything else really, but even this seemed like a reach. Like, oh, global, Batman's going global or some shit like that. It's just like artists in different parts of the world all contributing to a comic book. Like, or it's a symbol for Batman Illuminati. I'm just playing. That's worth looking at for sure. Because I'm definitely not gonna say something like DC or Warner Brothers or anything like that is beyond shady. Like they're above doing something shady. Fuck out of here, bro. They would definitely do some shit like that. But I still think that was just about a comic book. Yeah, it's about like an hour-long video. I could keep going. It really is just like well, it's like, did you guys actually watch the movie at all? Or is it just, or are you just going like, because most of their references seemed like the movies, the Nolan trilogy, which is like, there's other movies where of Batman or comic books of Batman where you can show him doing some shady shit, for sure, that you could interpret, and there's no subtext behind it. It's just, this is a cool story. Batman picks up a car and throws it on a person. See, look, that's fucking cool. Right? And there's no subtext to it. There's no like the car's a symbol for something. There's none of that there. But you pick out the Nolan trilogy, which is like some of the best filmmaking ever made, in my opinion. And then also it has subtext and a deeper narrative, like what does it actually mean to be like a hero? Or to be good? What does it mean to be good? Can you imagine like fucking gall to attempt that? To attempt to ask someone like what does it mean to be good and then try to answer it in a way that isn't like over the top, like where they're subtly telling you what it means. Can you imagine that? I'd be like, wow, this is like a fucking artifact that might get washed away because Batman's rich, or that, you know, it's a whatever, it's a symbol for supporting the war on terror. I've heard that argument. What else? DC's whack. That's why. Like, why would you? As far as filmmaking goes, they've both been, like, more often than not, whack. With some, you know, gems here and there. DC and Marvel. Like, they've both been kind of whack to me, as far as, like, a filmmaking standpoint. But if I do see something good, I'm not going to, like, ugh. But DC's whack, though. I hope that's not the reason. And like even the notion of, is he a cop? Why does cop mean bad? That doesn't make sense either. I thought good and bad is up to an individual, making individual choices. Yeah, but that's something, I get it. Yeah, that's all I got. I mean, like I said, I could talk about this for several hours. And in fact, I could do this while I'll get rid of Batman, the argument. Just say, like, hey, let's look at this movie and try to break down the character and shit. And be like, okay. And then at the end, I'll just be like, yeah, that's in this movie. So, hey, if you don't like Batman, come check it out over in this movie. But at the same time, you can't just deny that it's in the movie because you don't like Batman or you don't like the character, how the character is built, the fictional, not real character. All right, please subscribe if you like, comment, agree, disagree. Tell me what you think in the comment section if you actually make it through the whole video. Don't forget to share, support, and hopefully donate to all the fucking links in the fucking description box. Do it. OCBs too. In there. Donate to all of them. Share all of them. Do it now. And with all that said, give this video a thumbs down. Thumbs down. I should have did this in a lot more piss people off type of way. Like fake Batman fanboying. It could get mean at some point. If there's any type of rebuttal, which I doubt there will be. Anyways, here we go. Give this video a thumbs down.
Say you wanna get in.